Hey friend, in this video we are going to be painting some fun, bright, vibrant sunflowers using a little bit of an in-between method between loose and semi-realistic style florals. We're going to be doing some layering with some gouache, but I actually used acrylic paint because I was out of gouache, but I would prefer gouache, so use gouache. And it's gonna be fun. We're entering into the fall time season as we're currently filming this video, so I thought it would be nice to just ease ourselves into pumpkin land with some sunflowers. So if you're ready and want to get into the fall mood, I know there's a lot of fall girlies and fall boys out there, so let's dive in. Okay, so for my sunflowers, I'm going to be using the Blooms brush. This is the naked version of the Blooms brush. This is the prototype of when I was helping design the brush, so it's not the long handle, it's not red, but it's the same exact brush. If you don't have the size 12 Blooms brush, it's honestly my favorite favorite brush for flowers. And it is a long handle brush because I love to bounce and dance and be further away when I'm painting my flowers. You just have to stand a little bit further away. But it is a really great brush by Princeton. They also have a few other sizes of a filbert brush in the Velvet Touch series. But it's really bendy and snappy and just really fun to use this brush shape for flowers. And this style of sunflower, I'm gonna make it a little bit more layered or realistic looking. So I'm actually gonna use white acrylic paint because I don't have any white gouache. I'm out of white gouache, but I'm gonna use white acrylic paint, some primary yellow, and this is gonna be the base of my bulb or the center of the flower. It's not gonna be a dark brown yet. I'm gonna layer dark brown on top of it, and I'm gonna grab some burnt umber. I'm gonna layer some dark brown on top of it, but I want it to be like where you show the bumps on it, where you can see the bumps on the bulb. I'll probably just do 2 or 3. We'll have one up here, one here, and maybe a tiny down here. So we're starting with a light tan, basically, with a little bit of yellow. And we're going to just paint in a circle shape, oval shape, but it's not perfect. Like we're just floop, floops. There's my bulb or disc for my first sunflower, so we'll have petals, and we'll layer some dark brown around that once it dries. And then I'll have another flying saucer over here. Maybe a little bit more circular for this one so that they're a little bit different in shape. And then this one is maybe just the top of the bulb, covered by mostly petals. Then we're getting our creamy consistency of primary yellow and a touch of yellow ochre, which I need more of. I need more primary yellow and yellow ochre. Yellow, thick, creamy consistency, but if it's straight out of the tube, you don't need that much. A little bit of the golden ochre. I wish it was yellow ochre, but it's fine. I can't find it. Type B. Okay, so now we've got this like brown mustard color. Thick. My brush is coated on the tips especially. And I'm pointing all of my petals into the bulb. Some of them will overlap and crisscross and all that fun stuff. It might be helpful for you to pull up a photo of a sunflower so you can see, like, sometimes they take on that fan shape right here instead of just an open. Most people, when they paint sunflowers, they just do you're looking straight on at it, here's the bulb, and all of your petals are just pointing straight into it. It's fine, but it can feel a little bit more elementary. So if you want to like make it feel more elevated or more complicated looking, take on different shapes. So we've got this bowl that's tilted towards us, and it's creating this fan shape for these back petals, and these petals, we're just seeing the tops and they're pointing at us. So we'll start with that fan shape first. So I'll go on the sides of this oval and paint in using the corner of the brush and medium pressure. One over here. So there's the side of my fan. Whoops, forgot that was straight from the tube. And we'll just kind of start, the thicker the consistency of your paint, the better it'll come out. And we'll streak in some of that golden ochre here and there too, so it kind of just naturally gives you that like, oh, you spent time putting the darker brown and yellow on top, but it's actually, we just dipped it in at the same time to give it that two-tone look. You can blend these bottoms in a little bit closer together, but we're also gonna add more stamen and fluffy brown on top of the bulb once that dries. And then we'll come up here and I'm just gonna do about a 25-degree angle hold on my brush and use the top of the brush and pull down for these little front petals that will also go over with some more of that golden ochre color to make them feel less transparent and more forward in front. So this is like a covering of a bulb. And then we'll have our stem there, but we're gonna do our flower first. So then we'll do, this is gonna be a bit more open for that one. So same thing, golden ochre and primary yellow. And we'll just kind of point towards the center. Maybe this one has bigger petals mixed in. Layer on some of that golden ochre. Just place in your main petals first, and then you can always go in between and make the ones in between longer if they need to be longer, if they're feeling kind of short and unevenly balanced. They don't all need to be straight though. You just want to make sure that they are pointing to the center. And I'll go back in between. Go in and paint in where there's a lot of white space. For that, keep it simple. Then let's do a smaller sunflower, kind of the same bowl shape. Fan shape, bowl shape. Like that. And then we're still waiting for the bulbs to dry. So I'm gonna grab my green, sap green with some green gold for a yellowy green. Same brush in a milky, creamy consistency. Find the middle of the bulb, which I call the axis point. If you've taken my course, The Art Within, then you know all about axis point and where to place stems and leaves. I'm just creating that V shape to cup those petals with sepal. So it's just find the middle, use the corner of the brush for these little sepal shapes. Same idea as petals, and then we've got our stem floating in down here. And then we'll do something like this for this stem. And I'll maybe put in a big leaf here. And we'll cover up that with another leaf. And then we've got our sepal down here to cup these petals. So it covers up that like bottom edge where the petals were just kind of hanging out. And then we'll bring the stem down. Kind of just frame it for leaves around here and there with some green gold and sap green, mixing it up. while we wait for the bulbs to dry. More. And then, instead of the filbert, I'm now gonna grab my size 6 brush. And I'll do one shade darker, or a couple shades darker of this color, and then another couple shades darker on top of that. So we're gonna do, this is what this base color is, so I'm gonna add more brown and some black to it. More burnt umber and more carbon black, which makes it gray, so we're gonna add more burnt umber and a touch of red. A little bit darker. So just keep adding in those colors so you get the right temperature and the right depth that you're wanting. Maybe some dragon's blood too, because there's that red in there. I'm just gonna go around the edges with variations of strokes. So I'm using the side of the brush sometimes and doing these swirly motions like I'm brushing my teeth. And then I'm also flipping it on its side to make the edges of those fluffy strokes more random. So I'm taking that darker brown color, smashing it into mostly the edge, maybe up into the petals a little bit, but not too much. And I'll get less and less as I come around this right side. So we're adding more shadow on the left side, and this is a sphere, so we're trying to make this more three-dimensional. And how do we add shadow to a circle to make it more of a sphere? Depends on the light, where the light source is, of course, but to keep it simple, let's just do that crescent moon shape. And then maybe just a few little dots here and there on this side, but keep it sparse. And then once that dries, we'll go back over it with like a black color, a brown black color, to accentuate this shadow on this side. Same thing, left side is where the shadow's going, so left side on here too. But it's gonna be less because the petals are peeking over here. So again, smash, smash, sprinkle, dots, smash, smash, sprinkle. Or whatever. Smash, smash, poke. Left. But also bottom down in here where the petals are covering up. I like to go up into the base of those yellow petals to cover up those gaps. So it's kind of a nice in between a realistic painting and a very loose style floral painting. So now we wait for this to dry, which is gonna take forever, so I'm just gonna do it. Adding black to brown, but I don't want it to be gray. So adding brown, burnt umber, and dragon's blood. So just thickening the mixture, but then also a little bit more black. To help add that 3-layered depth effect to our sunflowers. So just taking this, sprinkling it in, mostly just on that left curve of the moon, crescent moon. Taking it and sprinkling it up even higher sometimes around the edge. Oh yeah, makes it feel more round, more elevated. Just a couple layers of simple brush strokes and it can really make something boring and basic pop. I could also do that with the petals and go in with more of that golden ochre and streak in more of those details if I wanted to. Make it more of that two-tone sunflower look, or just keep it as it is. Make this star of the piece the bulbs. So there you go, some fun fall sunflowers. I know I'm in the mood for pumpkin patches soon, so have fun painting the sunflowers. There you have it. I hope you had fun painting these sunflowers with a little bit of extra detail. They are so much fun to paint. Obviously, you can make it more detailed or less detailed, totally up to you, the amount of layering that you do. But I hope you had fun painting these sunflowers. If you need more of a deep dive on all things watercolor, check out the Complete Beginner's Guide to Watercolor here on this channel. I also have a Complete Beginner's Guide to Watercolor Flowers as well. So if this was like a really good taste of flowers for you, make sure you check out that video. It's got a lot of different shapes, a lot of different styles and techniques to use with your flowers in that video, so check it out. Also, check out the Complete Beginner's Guide to Watercolor ebook if you're more of like a reader person. You want to put on your readers and you want to read the ebook and or print it out or whatever, that's fine too. Then check that out. We'll link to it here. It's free as well. You just have to give us your email so that we know where to send it to. You can unsubscribe at any time, but I will say my emails are bomb. Anybody who's on my list can tell you. Drop it in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, share it with a friend who's interested in art or wants to pick up an art hobby or whatever. You know, John and I, my film guy / husband, we put in a lot of work in these videos because we love you guys and we love what we do. But all the engagement, the likes, the comments, all of that helps us to continue on making these videos for you all and the art community. So anyway, that's all. That's my little pitch to engage more and like us because we're nice. I'll see you in the next video.